All right, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers make a move that you probably didn't notice. They quietly make, I think, what's an important move. If you're new to the channel, we're Detroit Lions fans, but this channel fully dedicated to teams that just don't get the love like they should. Tampa Bay is a team we've been
Mhm.
on for a while, even though
Oh, yeah.
you beat us last year. It feels like we play every year now. We're going to play you next year as well.
Yeah.
You're coming to Ford Field
Keep
again.
winning the division. That's what's gonna happen.
Congratulations. Yeah.
We
So
play each other if we keep winning the
Tampa Bay.
division.
We just have respect. I think we both mutually have like respect for Baker Mayfield. We went from like he's what
Yeah.
is this clown to like all right, he's a solid guy. So all right, here's the news that you probably didn't notice, and that was the Buccaneers signed guys to future deals. This is basically young players that you say, hey, we want you to be at camp next year. Like, yep, sounds good. Thanks. At least got a chance somewhere. But there's one player in particular that you signed that you're not talking about much, and that is Dion Jones. This
Yeah.
is a Pro Bowl veteran linebacker that's appeared in 111 games, 91 starts, and you get him on your futures deal, basically a no deal or a no cost to you. Just come be at training camp next year. And this is big because Craig, he played in the wild card game. He
Yep.
actually was active at the end of the season of the most important games. He's played a lot of football. He's 30 years old, veteran. So
Yeah.
when you as we in the off season and we're trying to find guys and this whole thing to like just steal a veteran and is invaluable at this point, I guess.
Yeah, especially at this point in the season. I mean, how often do you see former Pro Bowlers signing futures deals? Like, I don't think I've ever seen that.
Right.
Like, I thought futures deals were pretty much for, oh yeah, this is a young guy. He might be a good player. He might not. I don't know. Like, I
Yep.
never see that. I never see Pro Bowlers signing futures deals, and he's a guy that can come in and he can play. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a day one starter for the Buccaneers, but he's going to bring a level of that veteran presence that you need, an understanding of the game. And he's one of those guys that, yeah, while he might not play a ton throughout the season, he could be an absolute vital piece down the stretch that is a big time difference maker.
Yeah.
Big time.
This is cool. And I'm glad that you brought this up about basically that veteran presence because he was with the Atlanta Falcons for like 8 years. And then since then just bounced around Browns,
Yeah.
Panthers, Bills, and then Buccaneers, but he was a Pro Bowler. And so that just caught our eye, I guess, to be
Yeah.
like, wait a second, what is this guy doing? So he's been around forever, and the fact to have him there is really good. And I guess as we switch gears, as you think about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think linebacker is a spot where they're trying to figure out what they are.
I'm sure.
And then defensively, they had such up and down year that if you can add guys like this, it doesn't hurt at all because again, it's a veteran piece. You're trying to find these guys. He knows the defense. So as we switch gears now to what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could do in the draft, let me show you this. And speaking of the draft, and you let me know your thoughts. Tankathon has them taking Shemar Stewart,
No,
6'6".
don't take Shemar Stewart. Let him fall all the way to Detroit.
Yeah. Yes. So thoughts on edges and just what they would be able to do in the draft sitting here at 19.
100%. They should.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is a phenomenal pick when you think about what this team is, where they're at. Like it just makes too much sense to me not to go edge, if I'm being completely honest. And I
Mm-hmm.
think one of the reasons that I say edge is huge is when you look at their lineup. I got it pulled up here for
Yeah.
us, right? I love looking at it like this because you can see it on the field. This is on PFF. There is one clear glaring weakness, isn't there? Like, I mean, Vita Vea, Kalijah Cansey, I don't know. Kalijah Cansey was kind of disappointing this year. I still think there's a lot in the tank on that. I mean, he's just learning to play in the NFL. But the edge rusher, that true pass rushing specialist or a guy that can just wreak havoc off the edge is sorely missing. And we've talked about it with other teams. We've talked about it with our team. This is a draft that is absolutely loaded when it comes to edge talent. This is a free agent class that is loaded. But when you're looking with where the Bucs pick and you're looking at what their salary cap situation looks like, the best place to address the edge problem is in the draft because the rest of the defense is not that bad. Would you agree?
I agree. And you've got offensively now, you've shown enough where it's like Baker can kind of carry us a little bit when needed.
Yeah.
Defensively, kind of were let down last year. Defensively, Todd Bowles, that's supposed to be your thing. And it was like, nah, it just wasn't quite there. So you look at this, here's Shemar Stewart. Let me pull it back up here. See him on the top. I mean, it's just like goodbye. And he
Yeah.
just it's like, hey, don't touch the quarterback. He's like, I won't. I'll just touch the ball out of the quarterback's hand. It just boop.
Yeah. Done. I'm trying to be nice in a Senior Bowl. It's so hard for defensive linemen to stick out in a Senior Bowl,
Yeah.
right? But an edge rusher can do that. Like he's going against some of the top tackles in college football, right? And he made that guy look slow. It didn't even seem like a horrible get off by the tackle, to be
No.
completely honest with
Looked
you.
like everybody was
And
there. We're all ready to
yeah,
play.
yeah. And that's where Shemar Stewart will shock you because isn't he doing that at like 280 pounds or something
Yeah,
ridiculous?
he's 6'6". That's
Yeah,
the
he's
thing
a
about
big guy.
these, and it's kind of everywhere now. But always down, there's always this SEC guy, linebacker,
Mhm,
corner. It seems like a defensive player who's just like never heard of you. You're at
mhm.
South Carolina. Wow, you're 6'6", 260, or you run a 4.5, and there's
Yeah.
there's these guys in the South that are just like hidden gems down there that I don't know. That's always fun for me in the draft and seeing these guys. So,
Meanwhile, in the Big Ten, there's always a Jack Sawyer who's
oh,
like 6'3", 270, and you're like, can he run though? Like, can he actually run? But
oh,
it turns out he's good. He's technical,
yeah.
and I mean, like, he's just he's a mean, gritty guy. I think any of those, like, hey, back to back national champs, Big Ten conference. Anyways, I guess we're talking to people that are in the South here. But there's always these people in the draft, and you're just like, what happened? Why weren't they more productive in college? And I
Yes.
think that's where you find it's look, there's a lot of good coaches in college football. There's a lot of good coaches, but I think you find that the position coaches, there can be such a large gap between a position coach in college and a position coach in the NFL that you can have a player that has the measurables, that has the intangibles, that produced at a decent level. Don't get me wrong, at the college level, that can absolutely take off when they get in the NFL. It shouldn't make sense, right? It shouldn't
Mhm.
make sense. It should be like, oh, they're playing better competition. It should be even more difficult. But
It's
somehow they take off because they're in the right coaching, and the Bucs have that in place.
exactly. Let me show you one more of Shamar Stewart here. Just
Love that.
just flying around. Oh, watch out. Oh,
Oh,
fumble.
oh,
Everything's
just blow up the process.
problems everywhere.
Just wreaking
He's
havoc.
playing like D tackle a lot of these too, which is weird.
Yeah, because he's big enough, you can move him. But like you look at him, I mean, he's twitched up, man.
It's
I mean, for as big of a guy as he is, he's twitched up.
uh-huh. I love it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You ready for a rando here?
Mhm.
What how do you feel when you watch a guy that is just sitting there with number 4 on the defensive line?
Ooh,
How do you feel about that?
yeah. I don't mind it with the defensive ends. The defensive tackles is where it's like, that's too
You,
much for me.
you don't like a D tackle with a number 1?
Mm-mm.
Just looks so tiny because he's 315 pounds. That one looks like it's hanging on for dear life.
Yeah,
Like just
no, I'm okay with the D end if they want to get weird and you're good. That's okay. Yep.
all right. How about this one? Wide receivers with a number like in the 20s.
Ooh, nope.
Hate
That
that.
one doesn't feel right.
No, hate it.
Give me
Hate
an
it.
80s.
You stay under 20
Mhm.
or over 80.
Yep.
Like in the 80s, it's 1 to 19, and in the 80s, that's where you belong.
That's it. I could go back to that, to the traditional number sets pretty quick. So,
Yeah.
all right,
Same with
let's
tight
get out
ends,
of
by the
here.
way. Okay,
Yes, let's
sounds
get out
good.
of here.
Sorry, so sorry.
All right, everybody. See ya.
See ya.